Yes, good morning. It's that favourite time of the day once again. Welcome to SirToshi's Bitcoin Chart Show. This is the Bitcoin forecast, the strength of the system, the health of the network, where we find out what's up with what is going down. Today's day is Monday, the 28th of August, 2023, the year of BSV. Buy BSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online, the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Let's get into it. Here we go. This is a special show for two very special people that are going to be watching here today. I would mention your names, but you probably don't want me to, so shout out to you. This is for you. I'm going to go through all the figures relatively quickly because otherwise the show takes too long. But you can always come back to me and then ask me further questions on the charts that I've been looking at, and I will link them all in the description and in the message that I send over to you. So this is a site called CoinDance. It's got some extremely interesting metrics on here. So I usually have a habit of calling out BTC as Cabal coin because anybody who really knows what's going on, that's what it is. So we've got Cabal coin at $25,944. That's going to hurt because that's got a long way to fall. It's got a fundamental value of precisely zero. Then we've got B Crash, what a joke. Then we've got Fisher Price Cash, who cares? But then we've got Bitcoin. The original protocol goes right back to the Genesis block. It hasn't changed, making it the real Bitcoin, the true Bitcoin, the genuine Bitcoin, and the world's first and only ever digital commodity, backed by the value of data sovereignty, making it the most valuable commodity on earth because it's an extension of our own personal freedoms and liberties. Oh yes, here we go. This is very interesting metrics here, so we will work through them from top to bottom and then I'll explain from bottom to top. So a price, again, the price is just simply speculative. Miners do chase price, but the price is meant to be representative of the value. But because people are confused about Bitcoin really is, that's why the prices are the way they are, because they reflect market conditions, not the true value. So we've got the hash rate. So the hash rate is just simply the number of attempts that each miner can have at solving SHA-256 and finding the block reward. That is a deeper topic which we'll go into a bit later. But while we're on hash rate, we'll just have a look at the difficulty adjustment on BTC. Look at that. Look at that. That is insane. So even though the price has gone down from $70,000, the difficulty adjustment has continued to rise. And the reason the difficulty adjustment has continued to rise is because more and more hash rate is coming onto the network, which means SHA-256 is being found quicker, and therefore the difficulty adjustment has to increase related to the amount of hash rate that is coming onto the network. Then we got, let's have a quick have a look at BSV hash rate quickly while we're here. So this is over 1 year, so that again that's remained relatively steady, so that's pretty good. And it's miners who produce blocks and supply the hash rate. So for anybody who hasn't seen what a mining operation looks like, these are they. Blows my mind every time I see this. This is the backbone to the new global financial system, the world's first ever commercial internet. All of these operations stemmed from just one single 9-page white paper. Just absolutely sensational when you think about it. These mining operations are just absolutely staggering, some of them. Absolutely staggering. My goodness, yeah, just absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And again, these are economically competitive and globally distributed operations all around the world. Just absolutely sensational stuff. Sensational. There we go. So it's miners who produce the hash rate. The network nodes, again, are the number of miners on the network, and it's miners that produce the hash rate. The transaction volume, so the transactions are what upload the data onto the network, so kind of like represents usage, but really the most important metric is the block size, which is the amount of data being uploaded onto the network. So really, the most important metric is the one at the bottom. So the block size represents the amount of data being uploaded onto the network. The data is uploaded via the transactions, so no data, no transactions. The transactions are processed by the nodes that create blocks and then supply the hash rate. And the hash rate is the number of attempts at SHA-256, which represents the amount of demand, which is meant to be after the value. But the value, because people are confused about Bitcoin really is, the value is meant to be representative of the price, but the price is currently speculative because, as I said before, people don't really have a clue what Bitcoin really is. But when education catches up with speculation, you can guarantee that these speculative prices will soon start to match their fundamental values, which means BTC 0, Bcrash 0, Fisher Price Cash 0, Bitcoin, well, you'll have to work it out for yourself, but it's a staggering number. So as we go down to the bottom here, so these columns here just represent the size of the last columns of the last 30 blocks that have been produced. So Cabal Coin BTC has just simply got a 1 megabyte block size, although they've increased it just a little bit, and then again they've removed all the signatures from the transaction data, so just so they can fit more like transactions in the block, but they've still got a restricted block size. And the biggest block they've got here, look at that, of all these is just 2 megabytes. Absolutely outrageous. Bcrash, again, haven't even got any blocks over a megabyte, and Fisher Price Cash struggling to get all of the blocks over a kilobyte, let alone anywhere near a megabyte. But look at this on Bitcoin. Look at this. First block we're looking at 43 megabytes. There's probably more data in that block than the entire column of 30 on BTC. And then the next block, 41, 25, 6, 11, 45. And again, we're used to seeing gigabyte blocks on here, but Record IoT is currently off-chain at the moment. They've got a huge volume of clients coming through, so I've no doubt the transaction volume and the block size will rapidly increase very soon. Let's just expand these next few charts then. There we go. So hash rate follows price, follows value, follows utility, follows creativity, initiative, and intelligence. If you are intelligent and you apply creativity and initiative, you can make something useful. When something is useful, it can then create value. When it creates value, it can then develop a price. When it develops a price, it can then be measured against the cost of other goods and services and used as a medium of exchange. Remember, if something is useless, it's worthless. If something is useful, it's valuable. It's that simple. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. So this is a proof of work by network since 1st of August. So again, this column here should be on BSV because BSV is Bitcoin. So it's a bit misleading, but the proof of work will come over here when actually they realize what's gone on. Here we go. So this is the cost per transaction. So it is currently 54,127 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than it is on the Cabal coin. Again, it's all by design. And profitability, this always cracks me up. So it's currently 28.9% more profitable to mine on Cabal coin BTC. Now, all that just simply does is it economically incentivizes miners to leave the chain. But this is purposely being managed so they're not mining the chain, which means they're not holding any genuine Bitcoin. Imagine the rush in when they see this, but I suspect the hash rate is being managed very carefully because Fisher Price Cash and Bcrash, again, they're all economically worthless protocols, and mining on them is approximately the same profitability, so very much of a muchness. But the genuine Bitcoin, they're purposely being economically incentivized off the chain so that they're not holding any. So it just means that the supply of BSV on the market is being restricted, starved effectively. So fascinating to watch that figure. And here we have a daily average Bitcoin block size by network. So again, this is just the block size. You can see that Bitcoin has been absolutely smashing it, and it will do when Record IoT comes back on the market. Daily Bitcoin transactions by network. So again, this is a log curve, so you can see that Bitcoin absolutely smashing it above BTC. Daily average Bitcoin transactions per block by network, pretty much the same as the last graph, just transactions per block rather than over 24 hours. Daily average Bitcoin fees by network, look at that. So this is USD. So we're talking sub-cent transaction fees on Bitcoin right down here. And this is transaction fees by network measured in SirToshi's. So I mean, look at this. This is on a log curve just to try and keep it in proportion to actually show the other networks on here. But look, Bitcoin absolutely smashing it right down there. So what you want is low transaction fees in order to encourage huge amounts of utility on the network so that utility is not costly. And therefore, when you have more utility on the network, it makes it more valuable. That's the way it works. This is a daily Bitcoin fee to block reward ratio. So if you keep an eye on the red line here, let me just illustrate to you what that is going to look like. Here we go. So the red line is going to be following this solid blue line here. So what this chart represents is the block reward continuing to get cut in half every 210,000 blocks. And as a block is produced every 10 minutes, 210,000 blocks is pretty much bang on every 4 years, really. So we started off at 50, then it went down to 25, then it went down to 12.5, then we're currently at 6.25, and in April next year it will go down to 3.12, which is going to destroy a lot of BTC miners. But this is the distribution model. So as the block reward gets cut in half, eventually we need the block fee to surpass the block reward, and then we have an economically self-sustaining system, which is what we are gunning for. Oh yes, here we go. So the next one, this is daily accumulated Bitcoin blockchain growth by network. So this is the growth of the network. This is really the only chart you need if you want to know what's going to happen to the price, or you want to know what's going to happen into the future. You just simply look at this graph. This simply shows you the amount of data going onto the network, as in like how much data is being stored on it. The growth of the network. It's just absolutely staggering. So it's just kind of obvious really what's going to happen here. So I like looking at these figures. This is global hash rate 7 days. This represents the entire hash rate on all chains of Bitcoin. This is global hash rate all chains today, so sort of over 24 hours, kind of interesting. This is a Cabal coin, BTC. You can see the majority of the hash rate is on there because they have 98.82% of the entire global hash rate, as you'd expect. And this is a B crash. So again, kind of interesting here because the hash rate is being managed. Other miners, I suspect, are a single miner with a single distributed miner with a huge amount of synchronized hash rate on it. I can explain that. But what they do is they increase and decrease the hash rate accordingly, dependent on the profitability of the network. I have actually seen this as high as about 70%, maybe even more. So they're letting the miners actually enjoy collecting more Bitcoin Cash at the moment, but that's only because the profitability to keep it pretty much in check with BTC. Again, this is Fisher Price Cash. I mean, I suspect that Hathor merge mining there is related to other miners, but again, the hash rate is managed, which is why it's pretty much the same profitability to mine Fisher Price Cash as it is Cabal coin. But this is the one you really want to look at, and we'll look at this in more details in just a minute. So this is this shows you the miners on BSV, but it doesn't show you all of them. But what this does represent shows you. So Tal has currently got 61.1%, and I suspect the reason the hash rate on BSV is being managed is because Tal, who was bought out by Calvin Air for I think it was 62 million, or it might have been 26 million. I'm getting the figures mixed up. I'll have to find out. I think it was 26 million. I suspect the arrangement here is that he will be allowed to get all this amount of Bitcoin coming in exchange for massively expanding the mining operation once the price pops. So that will be the deal here on this one. And that's CoinDance. So let's have a look at. So we've seen that. So transaction volume. So this is all chains last 24 hours. So you can see you've got XRP, Ethereum, Cabal coin, BTC, and this is Bitcoin. So look at that. It's still smashing the rest of the market with 42.9% of the entire market's transaction volume on its network. And yet the price is nowhere near reflective of this. But this, out of all these charts here, this is the only one that bears any useful significance of what we're looking at. So let's have a look at Bitcoin analysis chart. So again, this is similar to the BitInfo charts we just looked at. So it shows you the volume of the volume of transactions on each network represented in a pie chart, and this is represented in a graph here. So look. Bitcoin BSV, look, 1.9 million transactions in comparison to Ripple, with just one. Ethereum, 953,000. Bitcoin absolutely smashing it. And then we've got transactions per second and average fee. So as you can see, the fees reduce as they go up. So literally the cheapest network to transaction by a country mile is Bitcoin. And this is the throughput transaction volume. So it's the cheapest and the most used. It's absolutely miles ahead of the rest of the field here. Coin sent 24 hours, that's kind of irrelevant really, but mining profitability as we just looked at. So, oh, it's actually saying here that it's more profitable to mine on SV right now. That's kind of interesting. I'll have to double check that. That can't be right. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, 28.5% more profitable to mine on BTC. Yeah, so I think they've got those. Maybe they've got them the wrong way around. I suspect we're going to see changes in these figures in the future as they try and hide the fraud that's been perpetrated on the people. You know, who knows? Let's have a look at protocols, see what's being used. So, transaction volume. So we've got 31,000 transactions on wallet transaction P2P KH. Output volume of $3.9 million. Interesting. So, but let's have a look at applications. This is the more important one. So transaction volume, STUK with 1.6 million transactions with an output volume over 24 hours of 82 million. 82 million output volume on STUK. My 2 cents producing 49,000 transactions. 30 hash monitoring at IBM with 30,000. Peer Games as a gambling site 9,641 with an output volume of $1.5 million over a 24-hour period. That is absolutely staggering. Absolutely staggering. Twitch producing 15,000. Output over 24 hours. DXS app, it's gone down a little bit. 118,000 though, that's still not bad. And just 654 transactions, producing an output of 118,000. And again, over 24 hours, it's still huge. Absolutely huge. My goodness, my goodness. All right, let's look at environmental friendliness. So here we got, look at this Bitcoin absolutely smashing the other coins here. Look, this is a CO2 per transaction in kilograms. So 0.0253. And then we've got Cabal Coin BTC producing 80 kilograms. You know, and that's per transaction. Honestly, absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And this is the coin that the Cabal have actually corrupted on purpose. They've purposely made it inefficient so they can spin the narrative, oh, Bitcoin's not good for the environment. What a load of crap. They just simply don't want you to know what the genuine Bitcoin is capable of. It is the most environmentally friendly, efficient system on Earth, especially when it starts to scale even more. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. What's on chain? So this is the actual mining of BSV. So whereas CoinDance was just simply showing us other miners and Tal, now we can see in more detail we've actually got Gorilla Pool, we've got Mining Dutch and others on there as well. So there's actually 5 miners on the network. Very good. Let's have a look at transaction over the last 24 hours. Yeah, so 1.7 transactions over 24 hours. What's on chain is the block explorer. So if you want to see the Genesis block, for example, you can just like, oh, actually that's block 1. Block height 0 actually is the Genesis block. Let's have a look. There we go. And here we have the famous message. The Times, 3rd of January 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It's a fascinating website, that one. And just for those watching, if we type in 181, we can see the very first transaction from Satoshi Nakamoto to Hal Finney of 10 Bitcoins. Look at that. Look at that. So 40 Bitcoins were sent, 10 Bitcoins were kept, and 30 Bitcoins returned, leaving Hal with a balance of 10 Bitcoin. The very first transaction ever. And then, if my memory serves me correct, 57048, or 57043, actually. Let's have a look. This should be the famous Bitcoin Pizza Day transaction. Come on. Is the price right? Oh, yes it is. There we go. 10,000 Bitcoin. The famous Pizza Day transaction. Absolutely sensational. 22nd of May 2010. For 2 pizzas, which is now worth approximately $300 million. Absolutely insane. Right there. Whoa. here we go. So this is the price of BTC taking a nosedive since July of this year. So yeah, so it's had a massive nosedive. But the green line here represents the longs. So in other words, it represents the amount of confidence in the market. And the red line represents the lack of confidence, as in, so it's very small at the moment, but imagine when but that's because they think BTC is Bitcoin. Imagine when they understand the SegWit fraud, what's going to happen. Oof, dear, oh dear, dear, oh dear. All right, crypto quant then. So this is all exchanges reserves. So in other words, you can see we've got the price in black and then the exchanges reserves in purple here. This is the amount of BTC that the exchanges are holding in reserves. In other words, they're using for their liquidity. And as you can see, they've been cashing out since September 2020. Literally for the last 3 years. Look at this. It's just been going down and down and down and down and down. Even though the price has been going up here, they've still been cashing out. And that's because they know what's going on. I suspect the exchanges know exactly what's going on and what's coming, which is why they want to get rid of it. This chart really tells you everything you need to know. And this is a miner to exchange flow. So you see this date here. This is the 15th of June of this year. And on this date was the case management conference that was held between Coper and Craig Wright, where they effectively try to resolve their differences before it goes to court and gets very costly. Not that it's really going to cost either party very much because they're all billionaires. But you can see there's a huge outflow of BTC to exchanges. So I suspect that they saw something. Craig might have presented something that spooked a few of them and they were just like, whoa, we need to get out of here. But there's no denying you can actually see this huge volume of outflow from miners to exchanges right there. My goodness, ready for, who knows what they're planning, but that's significant. This is quite an interesting metric to look at. So this is Tether. So this is the stable coin that the Cabal have actually used to pump the market. So you can see it's kind of like keeping its peg to the dollar, but it has kind of changed over time, much of a muchness. So in green is above the dollar, but it really should be stable on the line. Again, that depends on market demand. But the market cap, if we go to all of it, look, so it started off with a market cap of $4.5 million, and that has rocketed to $83 billion. And so Tether reckon that they're holding $83 billion in reserves, which they're not. No, they've never been audited, or all they've done is produced attestations where money has flowed in and flowed out about an hour later saying, oh, we've got funds there. But where'd they get 83 million from? What an absolute joke. They've literally, this is fiat currency. They have used this piece of crap to just simply pump the price of BTC to again distract people away from Bitcoin. That's it. And this is what they've used to pump the entire market, because the entire market is full of utterly worthless shitcoins that aren't used for anything. Literally, you saw the pie chart. You've got BSV, BTC, XRP, and Ethereum. And Ethereum is just simply used for like JPEGs and smart contracts and crap. But it's a centralized platform anyway. So really, how does the market get a value? Well, they just pump it with this crap. That's literally all they do. Absolutely outrageous. 4.5 million to 83 billion. Honestly, you've got to laugh when you really understand what's going on here. So the morning run, great site here from Joshua. So this is Bitcoin at currently $30.25, which means you can get 857 Bitcoin for the price of one BTC Cabal coin. 6.3 Bitcoin Cash, and again, it's just got some other coins listed here, but quite an interesting site. This is Live Coin Watch. This is, again, a really good site for metrics. So we've got current market cap of $1.05 trillion. Look, that is a $1 trillion market cap. My goodness me, yeah, that's billion, million, thousand. Yeah, $1 trillion market cap. My goodness me. With a trade volume of 24-hour trade volume of $15 billion. Yeah. So if we look at Cabal coin here, so for example, it's got a market cap of $508 billion. Volume is 5 billion, which represents a 24-hour trade volume of 1. Now, usually, in most market traded items, the 24-hour trade volume is around 5%. So this just simply means that there aren't many people interested in trading in it right now. But a healthy trade volume is usually around 5% on most items. And we can see here total liquidity. So this is bids and asks. Asks is those willing to sell, and bids are those willing to buy. So if there's more buyers than sellers, it means the price is in the green and it's going up. So if we go down here, we can see this metric. So again, sort of more buyers coming in than sellers at the moment. So price in, but this can change in a heartbeat, literally. But really, the only coin that we're interested in is the genuine Bitcoin. So let's have a look at where this thing is. I mean, look at this disgusting market full of these coins. It is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. So this is 100 coins. So where are we? We're probably in the 60s. There we go. Look at that. Look at this. $30, and it's the only coin on the entire market full of, let's see how many coins there are on it now. Look at that, 28,333 coins listed. Honestly, what an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. Yeah, and the Bitcoin they want is right here. So again, just a market cap of just 585 million. Trade volume 2%. So literally, bids is buying and these are sellers. So there's more people selling here. So, but there's only $3 million worth of purchase liquidity in the market. $3 million worth. That is literally all there is. $3 million worth. Like, my goodness me. My goodness me, yeah. So, yeah, people selling at the moment, but again, this can change in a heartbeat. So this is a breakdown of volume on the exchanges. So OKX leading the way, but liquidity is what you really want. CoinW, never heard of them. So all these sort of rather obscure exchanges seem to have more liquidity than the main one. Again, you know, the market just can't be trusted. It's absolutely insane. But let's have a look at the price. So this is genuine Bitcoin over the day. So just slightly down on the week. Looks like we had a bit of a price pump there. This is an interesting one. So again, this is BSV versus USD. So just bobbing along there over the last few days. But we can also have a look at the metric of BSV and BTC. So pretty much of a muchness really. Again, the market is manipulated. So people are trying to keep the price dips of BTC in line with BSV. So BTC goes down. They don't want anybody to see that BSV is doing something different. But look, we had a nice little price pump there that separated us. But again, market manipulation will just kind of try to bring it back into line. But that can't happen for long because the supply is fixed. So it's limited as to how much market manipulation can take place. So this is the price over 24 hours. Look at that. Looks like we had a nice little pump there. But then it's come down. Let's have a look at this on the week, on the month. So upsy downsies, but I think this would have been an all-time low here. $26. Absolutely insane. So again, I've ridden this market right from the very beginning, right there at the top, and right the way back down again. Oh dear, oh dear, dear, oh dear. Right, there we go. So this is a video I produced yesterday. I recommend everybody go and watch that. We've got 299 views on that one. That is called COVID-19. What's the connection with Bitcoin? And remember, we've got the largest court case in financial history coming up on the 15th of January 2024. I call it the Cabal versus Bitcoin. So there we go. That's a 29-minute show. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.